On this nose strut,
Gentlemen,
That's a nose strut right
get
there.
around the nitrogen tank.
Right there is the nose strut. We release the air from it.
All right. This Cessna 150 is inflated with the nose strut extended. I think the book says 35 pounds of pressure. And some airplanes give you a pressure with the strut extended. But many other planes don't give you a pressure. They only give you a distance of strut extension. So we're going to pretend that this is a different, heavier, bigger airplane. Okay, so we're going to forget about the pressure and just pretend this is some big, giant, heavy-duty airplane. Okay?
Okay.
And we have to put some nitrogen in the nose strut. And suppose the book said extend it 2 inches. Okay. First of all, we're going to turn. We have the regulator turned down.
Open, all the way.
Open up the tank. Okay. Now you have to experiment. The weight of the plane will determine how much pressure it takes to move it. The heavy airplane will take a lot of pressure to extend. The light plane will take a little bit. Since we have a light plane, maybe turn that first valve up to maybe 50 pounds or something. Turn the regulator up to 50. At 50, okay. Now,
I think. Is that like the very, very, very
yeah,
first line?
Yeah, the first line.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where it is.
Now, since it's such a small volume there, we're just going to crack the valve open and close it, and watch the nose of the airplane.
nothing happened.
Do it again. Oh, I heard it move. I heard a little bit go in. Well, maybe turn the regulator up a tiny bit more. And you just crack it open. Turn up a little more. It should go.
There we go.
Okay, close it.
It's closed.
And now, right now, this hose has a lot of
Pressure in it.
pressure in it.
So,
Now-
who wants to go pull it off right now?
Okay, what we could do is release the pressure in this. Now, if I grab the nose and lift it up, all the pressure here is going to go and fill it up even higher. So I'd want to release the pressure. If I have it just right, I'm going to release the pressure in this. And how would you release the pressure?
The way I would do that would be I would turn off the bottle,
Turn off the bottle.
then
You can
open the regulator all the way, and then crack the valve.
Go ahead. We have released the pressure in the line. And then suppose the book said, you know, the books will tell you 3-4 inches or whatever.
Whatever it is.
They'll give you a dimension. And so
That's it.
that is how you do it. What you have to be cautious of is just don't overdoing it. Bang! Yeah. Here, let's overdo it. Let's go ahead, take it off.
Let's overdo it.
We'll overdo it.
Push it all the way down first, and then we're gonna push it all the way up.
Now what is the? We're not going to really overdo it.
We're not gonna blow it up.
We're going to do a little overdo it. Now, what could possibly happen? Now, if that torque link is designed to limit the travel, I could break it. 1,000 pounds of pressure is going to bend that. So you got to be careful. You don't walk up this little wimpy plane with 35 pounds of pressure in the strut and blast it with 1,000, or you will bend the torque link.
And possibly shoot. Well,
You're going to shoot
theoretically,
fluid and parts everywhere.
yeah, you could actually like rocket it. You know,
Yeah.
shatter the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
down,
fun to
yeah.
jump off
All that angle, all the pressure built up inside, you know. Just kind of dissolved.
Put it to work, huh?
Yeah.
With that valve?
Oh, yeah.
Why are you taking that? Did you put it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't ever have to go back and think twice about it. I can,
right.
you know,
So you have your own library?
got my own private little library because you guys say,
Jokes that come with it.
you guys say the dumbest shit I've seen on.
It's on record. Dumb.
Okay,
Play back, laugh at
now
us.
we're gonna do it the dumb way, so you see the difference. Okay,
Record the dumb one.
we're not gonna be too dumb though. Okay. So if you have the valve open, then guys say, "Oh, I'm gonna start letting the air in, and I'm gonna use a regulator to regulate it." we're going to probably overdo it. It's probably going to be overdone. So go ahead and turn the regulator up.
On.
Yeah, just turn it up.
To the right,
And
go.
after a while, the plane's going to shoot up.
Sheet
But
come
when
up.
it does,
There goes the hose. There it goes.
oh, turn back down.
Turn it back.
Yeah.
You're good.
You see, when we crack the valve open and let a little bit at a time in, we could stop it at a certain point. But when you have the regulator in there, the thing will shoot up and extend all the way before you ever have a chance to turn it off.
So now,
So
You
that's
could
why
really-
it's better to just crack it.
You could
a
do
little
some
bit.
serious damage.
someone
then,
tried to
or
Yeah,
something, yeah.
That's
yeah.
what he's
If
saying.
you try to compress it, it won't go. And if you try to turn it, it's not going to turn.
Yeah, so it locked.
Yeah, so release
So-
that pressure. We didn't,
Yeah.
we're not so high. We just went high enough and extended too far, but we didn't go far enough to bend that cord and break it.
Well, I'm gonna wait till you get the pressure out of the line.
the pressure's already at the line. I already let it out.
Yeah, it's out.
You can tell because this valve is
So it's best to set the approximate pressure with the valve overhead. Okay. Now, if the thing, here's one thing that people don't understand. On a nose strut, if the nose strut is high or low, it's not extended too far or it's not bottomed out. Suppose would the pressure, higher pressure make it higher, or because let me explain it a different way. Okay, think of the weight of the airplane causing the pressure in the nose strut. It's like you standing on a scale. Okay, and people are kind of are wonder they pump up a nose strut and the strut's way too high. They check the pressure on it. And say it weighs, it's 500 pounds of pressure. And then they let some out, the plane sinks down, and they check it again, it still reads 500 pounds of pressure. They let some out, it drops lower, it still reads 500 pounds of pressure. So why does it still read 500 pounds of pressure?
The weight of the plane is the same.
The weight of the plane is what's creating the pressure in there. So really, when you pump up let's say, suppose a T-28 was in here. Sometimes the thing's just sitting too low where I can't get the jacks under it. So we go in with a nitrogen cart and extend the struts tall enough to get the jacks under. But we're putting in a larger volume of nitrogen, but the pressure would actually be the same because it's the weight of the plane on the strut that creates the pressure. Now, when it's fully extended, yes, there is pressure in there, but just remember that the weight. Like if you're standing on a scale and you got your big tall boots on, and they measure how tall you are, and then you take your boots off and hold them in your hand, you're just going to drop lower, but you weigh the same, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're putting in something underneath to extend your height. But guys are surprised when they start checking pressures. They think, oh, I made the strut higher, but the pressure reads the same. Now it's fully extended, and it reads the same. Yeah, there is a limit. Once it's fully extended, then you can really crank in the pressure and it won't go any higher because the strut's limited.
Well, it'll eventually go higher when it
blows
breaks.
apart. Yeah. So does that help answer the question? It's the weight of the plane on the strut that relates to pressure. The more the weight, you take it on some of these big airliners, the airplane does an automatic weight and balance for you. It checks the compression of the struts, and then it gives the pilot a readout where the CG is and the total weight of the airplane.
Wow.
Which I think a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. You just look right at it and you got your weight in CG, you know, and it does it all through the struts. So pretty smart idea.
Who has not?
They have the manual. I went.
With the grease?
went up to
No,
the
what is that?
asteroid.
Yeah.
We asked them,
Strut compressor.
how many pounds you got?
I don't know anything about that. You might want to explain a little bit about that.
You should have been aware last week instead of sleeping.
Good.
Alrighty, there's a whole group of people who haven't even seen this.
Good. Let's use it.
Someone hand me
Look it
the
up, let's use it.
airline, the end of the airline. Thank you. Catch. Oh, I was just gonna shoot it.
I know.
I like doing it.
I know. Okay. On YouTube, I saw a human jackhammer. It was in the Philippines or something. They had a big tall steel rod, and they had a beam across it, and they had another beam with handles, and there were 6 guys.
That's right.
And they were driving posts into the ground.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that is so high tech, man. I really liked it. But you have a large group of people with all of their weight concentrated on a post being driven into the ground. And what is happening here is the same thing. We have a large piston. I will let you put that up.
What are you hooking that up to? The same.
Same place.
Okay.
Same place. Yeah.
We have a large piston here.
We have a large piston with several inches
His hands are too small
of
for him.
surface area. And that is like the guys on the beam. And then they're all driving something small with great force. And so all the, if you have 3 square, or say you have 5 square inches here, and you have 100 pounds, that's 500 pounds of force. And you have that pushing on a 1 square inch diameter, that's going to pump 500 pounds of pressure. So you have one piston connected to another piston, big one connected to a small. Just like all the big guys driving one small post into the ground.
Is it similar to the booster?
And then this has a, with the using this valve, you can pump in a little bit at a time. The piston will go back and forth in its stroke. There it came back.
Up.
Okay.
Back.
A little bit went in. Another stroke. Another stroke.
Cool, huh?
Oh yeah. See this one? So I got a question for you, Lyle.
Yes.
Real quick. If you don't have a tank that can get to the proper PSI, this can help you get to that PSI,
Yes,
right?
many people who never had a nitrogen tank available to them
Yeah.
have used these strut pumps.
Okay.
And this is a school one, and I like it. I never saw one in my life until they got one at the shop. And then I talked to Paul, and they said, hey, we got 2 strut pumps here at the school, which I never even knew. And so I grabbed one. One's in the tool room, this is the other one. But it's I think it's a fun tool, you know? Now, the only problem with this, when you're dealing with the heavier airplanes, they say use nitrogen only. So you're going to have a source of nitrogen. So on larger planes, they're going to use a bottle.
So the T20,
Yeah, so fun, man.
T28.
Here, let it out.
Does that one say nitrogen only?
Yeah, T28 says nitrogen. And all the heavier airplanes say nitrogen. Small airplanes say air or nitrogen.
So you do this for Tanzania.
Oh, please don't.
Do for your people.
Let this thing on down. You let the strut down.
What does non-shat mean?
That is a good question.
I have no idea. I've never noticed that.
Non-shattering.
Non-shattering. Non-shattering.
Non-shattering.
They heat treat these things so they won't shatter?
High pressure.
I'd have to.
High pressure. It's all first of all.
I think it probably has something to do with the oxygen thing.
I don't think so. Because I have a non-shattering oxygen bottle. It's an old one, and it's wire wound.
Non-shattering.
Put it in a block, and every block is metal this big. It's hydraulic pressure in the cylinder. And if you notice, the stress line's all the way down there.
Is the
At the
oxygen?
end, it's
Oxygen is
flat.
blue, and then, or is it black? Nitrogen is black, I think.
Read the sign.
No, but the tubes. Because I remember one of the questions on the test was what color is the red hoses.
It's blue.
So what is the red hoses? Is that acetylene?
Yeah.
Yes, you
acetylene.
could.
No,
You
it's-
could. You could.
Red is
Didn't you have the tape?
Either green or blue is oxygen.
yeah, somewhere.
Oh, use the strut pump?
All right, so that's it. We got all the good information on that.
Heck no, there's always more good
Yeah, there's
information.
always more good.
Oh,
we gotta
Lyle,
think,
we
we
got-
gotta think
are we
what's
ready for
next.
you to do the-
Oh, we're ready for the torque demonstration.